Grand Rising. Happy Wednesday. Happy New Year. I pray everybody's having a positive, productive start to your day today. If not, I pray that your angels, ancestors, spirit guides, and of course the Most High help you with that today. I also pray that He clothes us in His armor from head to toe, that He strengthens our discernment and guides our steps as we go throughout this day. We're just going to jump right into it and get a chakra wisdom affirmation card. We'll get our incense lit and then we'll just go from there. Also, a little side note, we will be starting in our new devotional books today. And it's a 2-set series, a morning devotional and an evening devotional. So we're going to try to start in a new routine with this new year. And I'm going to make a genuine effort to come on every day instead of every other day like I have been doing. So we will start with that today. Starting new routines, get a new system in place. It's been a chilly, cloudy morning here so far today. It was 38 degrees when I took the dogs out this morning. All right, can we get one affirmation for today? I hope everybody had a safe evening last night. I know a lot of people are still out there celebrating these kind of holidays. I don't celebrate the holidays like I used to anymore, but look at that. Reward Myself came out again. That's the one we got the other day. Independence, first chakra, base chakra. That would be Nag Champa is the incense for that. Excuse me. Root chakra. Shout out to Dollar Tree. I don't do it every time, but I try to do it most of the time. If you don't have a Dollar Tree in your area, you can order these online through Dollar Tree. It's Elegant Expressions Aromatherapy. I had some really weird dreams last night. My body woke me up at midnight. I guess to acknowledge the new year was upon us. Love aromatherapy. All right. Independence. I know what my needs are and I actively pursue them, knowing that I will be guided and provided for when I put in the effort. I open myself to all possibilities and participate fully in life. I use my imagination and my vision to initiate what I wish for, and I pursue it. I'm not waiting to be rescued. I am not a victim. I am strong. All right, we'll get a grief affirmation, and then we'll get our verse of the day prayer card. Just a reminder, the daily devotions will be separate videos. And I'll get on and record that after I do this live. Healing is not linear. It's a spiral. I will encounter the same wounds many times, but gain new perspective with each passage. I've said it many times, and, it always rings true. To me, healing, you're never done. It's a continuous process that we all go through. We experience it in different ways, different levels. You know, just when we think we've healed from something, something comes up and triggers us and reminds us that the healing is never done. I also want to send loving healing energy to anyone who's still recovering from the storms, anybody dealing with displacement, depression, homelessness, anxiety, addiction, loss of a loved one. I'm sending you loads of loving healing energy this first day of the new year. That wasn't a very good shuffle. Let's do one more. All right. Verse of the day prayer card. We actually got two. Let's see what they are. First Chronicles 16:11. Look to the Lord and his strength. Seek his face always. And then Psalm 89, verse 9. You rule over the surging sea. When its waves mount up, you still them. That very much goes with our grief affirmation for the day. All right, let's pull up those. We'll start with the Psalm. Psalm 89, verse 9. O Lord God of hosts, who is a strong Lord like unto thee, or to thy faithfulness round about thee. Oh, wait, that was verse 8. Thou rulest the raging of the sea, when the waves thereof arise, thou stillest them. Okay, so that was pretty accurate. As we've learned, sometimes they're not always spot on like normal. That's a pretty long psalm, actually. Psalm 89, it looks like we've gotten scripture from that. Wow, 52 verses in that psalm. Most of the psalms aren't that long. So Psalm 89, verse 9. And it references Psalm 107, verse 29. Let's see what that says. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. That's Psalm 107, verse 29. Okay. And then we got First Chronicles 16:11. Let's see. First Chronicles is the Old Testament, page 621. Chapter 16, verse 11. Looks like we've gotten this one before. Seek the Lord and his strength. Seek his face continually. Yes, we've gotten that one before. Okay. Now we'll get our affirmation from the Wild Offering Oracle, and then we'll get into the Mary Magdalene. We'll also start reading from the Kabbalah book. We're going to be adding a lot of new information to the channel with this new year upon us. Wow. Self-acceptance and true offering. That was quick. And love on the bottom of the deck. Self-acceptance. Nothing is more exhausting than endlessly working on yourself. When you offer your whole being fully to love, self-acceptance arises spontaneously. May I rest in our oneness, dear divine. And then we got true offering. May I release the fears, illusions, and addictions that keep me from true offering. May I relax into your plan, trusting that the next steps will always be shown. Use me, love. Wow. Use me for the highest. I am yours alone. And then love. It's not about finding love. You are love itself. Help me, Lord, to send so much compassion and caring to the inner child that I always remember I myself am love. That very much lines up with the Mary Magdalene cards we got the other day. All right, let's switch these stacks out so that I've got room. We got Ascension on the bottom of the deck as we get started. Ooh, and I saw one that's flipped over already. Hold on. What's that? The Rose. Everything comes from within. I trust divine timing. Be interesting to see if that one comes back out. All right. The seventh power and the red thread on the cut. All right, we'll go for 3 to line up with our 3 affirmations. Self-acceptance, true offering, and love. The eye of the heart, we just got that one the other day. The cross. Faith, hope, and love endure. I am anchored in love. Oh, that's way too many. The eye of the heart. For where the nos is, there is the treasure. We contain the treasure. I'm not going to read that one again because we just read that one day before yesterday. But when I see this one, I think of the Eye of Ra. The cross. I am anchored in love. I think that's the first time we've gotten that one. Faith, hope, and love endure. And this is actually the picture that's on the back of all these cards. All right, we'll get 2 more. Love seems to be a running theme the last couple days. Loving yourself enough to be able to share that love with others. Wow, that's way too many. We don't need that many. We just need 2. There's 1. The egg. Everything comes from within. We just got that one recently as well. The second power is the one that flipped over, but that was a whole group of them. The egg lines up with the eye of the heart. That we got those at the same time. Very much talking about within. We contain the treasure. I'm anchored in love. Everything comes from within. Self-acceptance, true offering, love, independence. Healing is not linear, it's a spiral. I will encounter the same wounds many times, but gain new perspective with each passage. The good. Wow, a lot of repeating. I am inherently good. I think that was the only one that flipped over. Christ on the bottom. Remembering I know who I am on the top. A lot of repeating messages. So let's start with remembering, because I'm pretty certain that we have not gotten that one yet. I know who I am. Let me pause first. Okay. 17 minutes exactly on the timer. In chapter 4 of Mary's Gospel, Christ says, as he greets everyone gathered around him, "Peace be with you. Acquire my peace within yourselves." Mary, chapter 4, verses 1 and 2. This peace is not exclusive or reserved only for the most holy and ordained. This peace that Christ speaks of is a state of being that each of us can acquire within ourselves. Every time we can find the strength and the courage to remember who we are, we know again the peace that is always ours to claim from within. It takes remembering the truth of who we are in the midst of the worst possible circumstances, when someone is screaming at us, when we're feeling tremendous loss, or when deeply held beliefs about ourselves are being shattered. It takes remembering the other half of what it means to be human, right in the midst of the most difficult realities of what being human demands. When we can know who we are, a soul and an ego, an eternal spark of the divine and a messy, mortal human self, both, we can bring this memory to the moments when we used to forget, when we used to act on rage or ignorance or clinging. This is when we begin to acquire the peace that is within, the peace that has always been with us. The path of the ancient Christian was the practice of, I forgot how to pronounce that word. The living remembrance is the meaning of the word, but I forgot how to pronounce it. Hold on. There it is. I know I had.
Anamnesis. Anamnesis.
Anamnesis.
Anamnesis.
Okay, the practice of anamnesis, or living remembrance. It's a practice of trying, not perfectly, but consistently, and with as much conviction as compassion, to remember who we are when we are bound by one of the seven powers of the ego. And also, it's a practice of remembering when we're judging ourselves for a loveless action we took or something we now feel regret or guilt about, that we are here to be human. Knowing who we are, an entirely unique, imperfect expression of limited ego and eternal soul, frees us from the pressures of being perfect. Living remembrance means hearing, in the midst of the hardest moments life can hand out, a whisper from within your heart reminding you, I know who I am. The soul voice meditation. What do I remember is true about myself in this moment? Um, that resonated with me and made me think about the movie Vanilla Sky. In that movie, if you haven't seen that movie, it's a really good movie. It's got Tom Cruise in it, and it's got several other really good popular actors in it, but I can't think of their names right now. But in that movie, his friend Brian tells him the quote about the bitter with the sweet. You know, if you never have any of the bitter, you don't appreciate how sweet the sweet really is because it's all you've ever had. So that balance of being able to appreciate, the good and the bad. And there's also another part in that movie where it talks about, every minute is a chance to make things different, but every decision also makes things different. I don't want to go too much into detail just in case you go watch it. I don't want to tell you too much about it, but it's a really it's one of those movies that you really kind of have to watch it multiple times to really grasp the whole point of it. But it's a deep movie. That one, and then Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind with Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. That's a really good one too. That really makes the point of, you know, even the smallest little decisions that we make impact us. And unfortunately, if that decision has a bad outcome, we can't go back and change it. And he made one in Vanilla Sky, well, really in both movies, they made what seemed like not very big choices that very much impacted their lives that they couldn't go back and change. And in Vanilla Sky, the choice that he made, he ended up losing the love of his life because of that choice. Okay, the good. I'm inherently good. If we let it, the fact that we are good, that truth alone can transform our entire lives. We can let go of the guilt, the shame, the feeling of not being enough, or of being far too much. We can let go of the idea that we are somehow less or worth less because we are human. We can let go of the idea that God is a divine being who is way up there, way beyond us and out of our reach. Darling, quit. We can let go of this idea of a spiritual hierarchy, this idea that somehow we are ranked on some vertical axis from the most saintly at the tippy top to the most sinful down at the bottom. We can let go of this constant struggle to feel good, and we can begin to reach the truth that we are good. We are a part of the ultimate good, and this is both our truth to claim and our purpose to live. The Gospel of Mary doesn't refer to God as God at all. God, of course, is the masculine form of the Creator or divine being in the English language. The feminine form is goddess. The Gospel of Mary refers to God or goddess or the ultimate creator as simply the good. And the Gospel of Mary explains that human beings are not inherently or innately sinful. Human beings are good. Christ explains the human condition in Mary's Gospel by saying, "The good came among you, pursuing the good which belongs to every nature." Mary chapter 3 verse 5. The good belongs to every nature. This is important to emphasize. The good here isn't earned. The good belongs to us, within us. The good is inherent in what it means to be human. Start here. You are good. Let that truth ring through you. Let that truth guide you. Let that truth remind you of who you are and of your purpose here on earth. You are inherently good. And with that goodness, you will see all of creation differently. You will see that every nature, every modeled form, every creature belongs to this same goodness that you are. The soul voice meditation. What good can I see in myself in this moment? Yes, we did get that one recently. I remember reading it. It's funny how certain things kind of stick with you from the different readings. All right, let's look for the cross. I am anchored in love. It is believed that after crossing the Mediterranean Sea, Mary Magdalene landed in what is now the south of France. This is why Mary Magdalene is associated with the Guardian's Cross that originates in this coastal region of France. It contains a traditional cross at the top, a heart in the middle, and an anchor at its base. This triune composition refers to 1 Corinthians 13:13. Faith, hope, and love endure. These three, but the greatest of these is love. Christ instructs us in Mary's gospel, quote, "Become content at heart while also remaining discontent and disobedient. Indeed, become contented and agreeable only in the presence of that other image of nature. Anyone with 2 ears capable of hearing should listen." Mary chapter 3 verses 12 through 14. The Greek word for knowledge or knowing, okay, hold on. Let's look it up because I don't want to get it wrong. Gnosis.
Gnosis.
Gnosis. Okay, so the Greek word for knowledge or knowing, gnosis, doesn't refer to intellectual knowledge or something we can be taught or information we can be given by someone else. Gnosis is what we know because of direct experience. For me, Christ here is asking us to become anchored in the direct experience of love foremost, to become rooted in the presence of love, to listen inward daily, to know love, meaning to experience directly from within you that you are love. Wow. It's amazing how they line up. Okay, hold on. Okay. so that you can remain, wait a minute, to know love, meaning to experience directly from within you that you are love, so that you can remain discontent with and disobedient to all that is not love. The presence of that other image of nature, for me, from my experience, is referring to the presence of love which I encounter within me. And it's a presence that is eternal. This love is what's more than me. And I can only know this presence, this great, big, unsayable love in my heart, if I am willing to listen and be present to it. This allows me then to discern when someone or an institution is asking me to do something or to be someone in the world that is not love. This is why love is the most crucial, why love is the greatest of these, because love is meant to lead the way. And this is why, for me, Mary's cross seems to echo with meaning of iniquity. I don't like saying them wrong. Iniquity. I'm not sure that's right.
Antiquity.
Antiquity. Mary's cross seems to echo with the meaning of antiquity to the modern world, and it's the symbol of faith as the radical act of knowing love, of experiencing love directly from within us. The soul voice meditation, where in my life can I anchor more fully into my heart? And I keep thinking the thought in my head, don't get love confused with intimacy or sex or anything of that kind. A lot of people now, that's what they think of. When they think of love, they think of sexual things, and that's not what love is. The strongest forms of love don't have anything to do with that at all. So it's important to remember that. All right. And we also got the eye of the heart, the egg, and the good. We'll just read whichever one we come across first, because we've gotten all of those recently. I really wish they were numbered. I know I say that pretty much every day, but it would just make it a lot easier. The good. That's the first one we came to. All right. I am inherently good. If we let it. Okay, did I already read that? Yes, I did. Okay, so I've read them all. I felt like I had, but I felt like I was jumping ahead of myself. All right, so remembering the good. Oh, wow, the way they lined up. Remembering the good of the cross. If you think about it, our bodies are in the shape of a cross. If you put your arms out like this, our bodies are in the shape of a cross. Our bodies are the temple. We are the church. We are the vessel of love, of faith, of hope. And it's important to not only acknowledge those things within us, but to embrace them as well. And to seek that. If we don't have that knowledge, to seek that knowledge. I say it often, and only because it rings true in my own life. For so long we get distracted by the things external to us, when in reality, that's not what this journey is about. We are spiritual beings here having a human experience, and we're having this experience for a reason. And even though it's scary, I get hung up on it sometimes too, the whole death thing and what comes after this. But if you're a true believer in the spirit realm, if you're a true believer that the soul never dies, that the soul is energy that just transforms into a different form. And over the last couple years, I've gotten several confirmations for that. And I know it's scary. I know it's hard to exist in this world, and to have so many questions and so much doubt. But if we can remember that the divine is always with us, and that the love of the divine is always with us, and that the love of the loved ones that we've lost is always with us, it, for me, it helps. Just because they're not, love is everlasting. When you offer your whole being fully to love, as it says in the self-acceptance, it's comforting even in the hardest of times. Most of my loved ones are gone, and that can be a very hard thing to acknowledge, to understand, to accept, it makes it hard to find the motivation to keep going. But if we can stay in touch and remember that their love is always with us, even though they may not be with us in physical form, it can be comforting. It helps. Sometimes, you know, um, sometimes we have to dig deep and find that love within us to pull us through those hard times. And those are one of the many lessons that we're here to learn. Everybody that's here chose to be here, whether we want to admit that or not. There's days where I don't want to admit that. It's like there's no way in hell that I wanted this. But you know, the realm that our souls come from is very different. There's things that we are allowed to experience and do here that we can't do when our soul isn't in this vessel. So, you know, look at it however you want to look at it. It's confusing, it's discombobulating, it's sometimes infuriating, but when it's all said and done, you know, we're here for a reason. We we asked for this. And it makes, when I have moments like that, when I get caught up in my head about thoughts like that, uh, I really try to remember the love of my grandmother because her life was so simple. You know, she just wanted to love people. You know, she didn't want a big career, she didn't want fame and fortune. She just wanted to love people. And now more than ever, I can understand that. You know, I went through a small phase of my life where, you know, I wanted this big grand life and, you know, wanted people to know my name, and that's not what it's about. I feel like a lot of people that spend their lives striving for stuff like that, they it's like they missed the boat. They missed the point. They're not accomplishing what they were supposed to accomplish while they were here. But who am I to judge? You know what they're meant to do or what they're meant to accomplish. You know, it's not my place to judge. The only thing I can do is, you know, judge myself and hold myself accountable, and you know, I encourage other people to do the same. You know what I mean? All right. I'm going to leave it there. As always, be grateful for what you have, the big, the small, and the blessings yet to come. If you see a need out there today, tomorrow, next week, if there's any possible way that you can fill that need, please do so. You may not only better their day, but you could possibly change their life, and you never know the impact it could have on yours. Be blessed, find peace, and I'll see you next time.